not. Now we are. We're live. We're live, Lucas. And this is the Believe in Monsters podcast. You can find myself at Shy Bears 1985 and my bearded, beautiful co-host L Berry _40, Mr. Lucas Berry on the Twitter machine, along with the show at BIM_pod and our significantly missing co-host Joe Gaither at Joe Gaither6. Follow all three of us and the podcast. Brought to you by the Believe Network at Believe Network, BLEAV. Very happy to be a part of the network with those guys doing big things. Believing in monsters is what we are here to do today. Lucas, there's not much to believe in as the Bears are coming off a shellacking, as it were, 41-10 to the Detroit Lions. Lions cover the 5.5 spread. They also go under the 53-point total. So
I think it was lower when we talked about it. I think it started at 50 or 49 or something. It got to 53 by game day, regardless.
Either way, closing line value was the under. Unfortunately, the Bears could not score points. They could also not defend points, and they got their asses kicked. So another loss in the tankathon. Tank, and here we are.
See, this was not a good tank loss, though.
They can't all be good tank losses.
I know, but when it's this bad, it's very demoralizing.
I mean, at this point in the season, with 2 games left, how moralized are you to begin with?
I mean, I've been hopeful the past few weeks. I mean, they played the Eagles tough. They played Buffalo tough for a while, and Fields looked good in both of those.
I kind of meant as a player. Plus, I don't understand why Claypool wasn't played more. He also had his temper tantrum on the sidelines that we can get into. Very odd usage by the coaching staff. I don't know if he's just not healthy enough to play or what the deal is there, or if he still doesn't know his assignments after however many weeks we're into Chase Claypool. Not to say that he should be, teaching the offense yet, but you'd think he'd be a little farther along by now. I don't know.
Fields had 100 yards rushing in the first quarter. I was like, okay, it's going to be one of these games again. And then the offense did absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. They couldn't run the ball, which was very surprising. They couldn't pass at all. I think Fields finished with 40 net passing yards, something of that nature.
Yeah, he had 75 gross yards, which they were all gross.
This game wasn't quite Cleveland Browns level, but it was pretty close.
They allowed 7 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see for how many yards lost that was.
Dude, Fields was getting fucking hammered, man.
Oh, no, you're right. It was 30 passing yards. 200 rushing yards, 100 of those by Fields. Where'd the other 100 come from? That's shocking.
In the first quarter, dude.
No, I know. Well, yeah, I know. But he had 132. My bad. So then Herbert had 31, Montgomery had 24, and Unlock the defense had 13. Unlock the offense, whatever. So, yeah, not any bright spots.
We lost 2 more linemen as well. Peter Iceland was in the game. Never thought I'd see him ever starting. Ever for the Bears. But he was in there.
He wasn't starting, right? He was put in.
I just meant I never thought I'd see him out there on the field in an actual regular season.
I feel like I've seen him in the last 3 years, because of the rotation of Coward and Cody at center, and then before they figured out what's his nuts at center, they tried Dieter for a minute before they put Mustafa in last year. Dude, it's just. I hope they don't think that their work at O-line is finished by any stretch of the imagination with all of the fifth or later round picks they brought in last year.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy we somewhat have hope for is Braxton Jones, and he's been looking like he's been going downhill the past few weeks. So
He
who
definitely had his
knows?
worst game of the season. Got
Yeah,
blocked into Fields at one point.
he was getting demolished, man. That
Uh,
Lions pass rush is no joke. Joe's not here. Joe's dodging us because he. Remember what he said about Hutchinson?
well, I said in the text that, or I said in the our Bears chat that somewhere Joe Gaither's calling Aiden Hutchinson a bust because he
Unreal,
just
man.
apparently hates that guy. But I told you guys from jump that they were no joke, and that guy's a freaking animal. But the other kid, apparently was a later round draft pick. The other,
Houston.
yeah, Houston on the other side. Is it James Houston? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't that what's the guy's name that was really good for Kansas City for a while?
Houston. I don't know
Yeah,
his
it
first
was.
name.
That's not helpful. It's definitely not Lamar Houston because he's not jumping and hurting himself on sack celebrations. Uh, fuck, I feel like it's James Houston, but I don't want to put any. I don't want to say it with my chest. I feel like that's his name though. Anyway, so that guy is apparently pretty good too. Yeah, the Lions are playing pretty interesting and could squeak into the playoffs somehow. I could find the playoff scenario, Chinggis, but I don't really feel like it.
You're thinking of Justin Houston.
Justin
And
Houston.
the Lions. The Lions need the Rams to win over Seattle, and then they beat Green Bay.
Neither of which I think happens.
Yeah, so Seattle plays the early game, which means the Lions could, in theory, be playing for nothing if Seattle wins, which would suck because they got moved to the primetime game.
The Lions did.
The Lions did, yeah. So they could potentially have nothing to play for on primetime.
Well, speaking of prime time, and we definitely should have opened the show with this, but we completely dropped the ball. Thoughts and prayers to Damar Hamlin and his family. A young man that collapsed on the field during the Monday Night Football game. Buffalo Bills safety. Essentially got hit in the chest by T. Higgins on a pretty routine play. Higgins over the middle and trying to pick up some extra yards, dropped his shoulder into Hamlin's chest, hit him hard enough to where it interrupted his heartbeat, causing a cardiac arrest. Essentially, Lucas, is that the way you understand it as well?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
and,
yeah.
CPR for 10 minutes, 9 minutes. Crazy. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Watching the game, you knew it was pretty serious when they had to go in and out of commercial 2 times, and you knew it was bad when they just flashed back and the guys fell on the field the whole 9 yards.
So
absolutely terrifying.
There's 2 situations that I've seen where they thought somebody was paralyzed on the field and an ambulance was in the tunnel. But this is the first time I've ever seen an ambulance on the field. So that was pretty intense. And they brought out a defibrillator and everything to get his heart going again. Very, very scary stuff. Yeah. No. I don't know. No words, really. Kind of a freak accident.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely crazy. The NFL did what they had to do. They canceled the game, rightfully so, yesterday, and still waiting to hear back on what might happen with that. But obviously, that's the least of everyone's worries. So for now, we're just hoping that Hamlin can have a full recovery.
Yeah, the last thing is he was still in critical condition at the hospital, but There hasn't been any updates since then, unless you've heard of something more recent, Lucas.
No, I was just gonna say I think Chris Pronger had something happen to him similar, except he got hit with a hockey puck in the late '90s, and he ended up having came back and had a full career after that. So definitely some hope there that whatever happens, he'll be all right.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. And like you said, Lucas, last thing on everyone's mind is the outcome of the game, but eventually they do have to figure that out, whether or not they kind of call the game as it is, where Cincinnati had a 7-3 lead and Cincinnati wins the game, and that's that, or they play the game at some point, which I'm not really sure what that would look like in terms of timing, because both teams still have a game this weekend. It's Tuesday, so I mean, even if they played the game tomorrow, you're asking guys to turn around and play again in 4 days, essentially. I don't think they can even do it tomorrow.
They already said they're not having it this week.
So, I mean, what does that look like next week? I mean, when there's not a week in between the playoffs and the
right. The only thing I could think of was potentially with the week before the Super Bowl, they could move all the playoffs back a week, leave the Super Bowl when it is, and then have that game that last week,
and not have a break in between the Super Bowl.
Right.
So as it stands, who has the number 1 seed in the AFC?
I believe the Chiefs do, but I think Buffalo would have the tiebreaker over them if they had the same record and won out. So Buffalo has the 1 seed to play for. Technically, Cincy could still get the 1 seed, and the Chiefs could also get the 1 seed.
Wow. I was gonna say if there's if the 1 seed was locked up, but there's only one bye week now anyway, so it's not like they could play during that playoff bye week. So yeah, it'll be something to watch to see how the NFL handles this. The way it's looking, I mean, in my opinion, if they're not going to play it this week at all, I don't see how they don't just call it. Which is just interesting. I mean, it's scary for everybody. I mean, I don't know how Buffalo continues on this season, especially if, Hamlin does not pull through for whatever reason, or, he's long
just not even
affected.
not knowing. Yeah, not knowing.
Just that uncertainty from teammates has got to be heavy on the heart. So anyway, thoughts and prayers with Hamlin and his family and all the Bills and fans of Buffalo, fans of Cincinnati both showed up to the hospital to show support for Mr. Hamlin. So that's fantastic. Good show of humanity there.
They got to burn that stadium down or something, dude. 4 of the worst NFL injuries I've ever seen all came on that field. All in prime time, too. Every single one of them.
Was that the Carson?
No, that was gross, but they had the AB hit, which was nasty when that happened. They had the Shazier thing happen when he collapsed on the field.
Yeah.
They had Tua's concussion a few weeks ago, and now this. I mean, those are definitely I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bengals prime time seems like a freaking curse or something.
So is that a new stadium, or are they on the
I think they just renamed it.
Are they on the verge of building a new stadium?
I don't know if they are. I heard they were just renaming it. I literally heard they were going to sell the naming rights to the stadium so they could have enough money to sign Joe Burrow. I don't know if that's true or not, but I literally heard that. It's like part of their plan.
Whatever.
It's just a Twitter rumor.
I don't. Whatever. That's if you're that broke. I don't know. You can't pay your quarterback because you don't have
That just
right?
means T. Higgins will be a Bear, right?
Sure.
Okay, you got to change the stadium name to pay the quarterback and the other wide receiver.
Maybe a local Chicago brand could buy it so that they could in pseudo get T. Higgins to Chicago.
I forget where I read that, but I feel like it was a joke, but it also wasn't a joke at the same time. Like I feel like they were kind of serious about. I don't know. Who knows? That'd be funny. I'm gonna roll with it. Spreading false rumors. The Bengals are so broke they're renaming their stadium to pay their quarterback.
I like it. We're gonna roll with it. You heard it here first, folks. But Lucas just said he read it somewhere else, so never mind. Anyway, so the Lions beat the crap out of the Bears. That
Beat
that
the
was
shit
fun.
out of us.
Yeah, so that was a good time.
And Fields didn't look great, so now we have people questioning yet again if they need to draft a quarterback at 1 or 2.
So the conversation around Justin has been anticipatory throws, right? Throwing guys open, windows smaller in the NFL,
Holding the ball too long.
holding the ball too long. So I guess my question or my thought process is how much of that is on Justin? How much of that is on the receivers? How much of that is on the O-line? I mean, I definitely think he isn't much of a throw it before the guy's open quarterback. I do think he needs to work on throwing to spots rather than throwing to people, if that makes sense.
Yes, but it is also hard to judge that this year just because the receivers don't separate. Like I've seen definitely a few examples the past few weeks where he's tried it and his guys are just blanketed and or not fast enough to get open.
So,
but I do agree with you.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what does it look like then? Is there
like I'll see him releasing the ball before the receiver breaks, but then all our receivers run like their hips are stuck in quicksand, so the corner's just right on them.
So the ball just sails past
the ball, yeah, exactly, or is swatted or something.
Yeah,
but you'll see him throw it before they're breaking, and you're like, okay, he's finally. It's also hard to do that when you don't trust your guys. Just to play devil's advocate for all the people who want to criticize that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I hear that. I think like when you're throwing to a spot or throwing, like if you think about it like a simulation essentially, right? Or like this is a horrible example because I hate it when people do this, but like when you used to play Madden, right? You knew where like guys' breaks were. If you just throw it to that simulation, you shouldn't like be trusting your guys. And I get you have to, and I get like you can't just throw it to a spot because that's what the computer tells you to do, or that's what the game plan or the playbook tells you to do. But that's how I like envision it, or that's how I make it make sense in my head. And I don't see him do that nearly enough. And maybe he started to do it more, and that's great. And not trusting your guys is honestly, that's not on him. That's something that he needs to get over, because when he has guys he trusts, you can't just insert that now. Like, oh, okay, well now I trust the guys. Now I'm going to throw them open. You like throwing guys open also makes guys that suck better. So
yeah, it's true. I think it's true on all parties. I think the Bears' offense is equal parts bad. Quarterback, line, receiver.
And that's why I posed the question: is what percentage of blame falls on each of these things? And I mean, I don't know, man. It's almost like with a few key pieces here and there, is it a so what? Like, so what if Justin holds the ball too long? Like, if he has a better O-line, does it matter? So what if he holds the ball too long? If he has a little bit better receivers, does it matter? If he can, work the pocket or scramble and get open, does it matter? No, none of it matters. On the flip side, if Justin has a little bit better wide receivers and can throw them open, does it matter? No. That it doesn't matter that he has a little bit better wide receivers. Like you gotta but and like we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, you can't fix all this stuff in one foul swoop in one off season. It's going to have to be pieces at a time. And I don't know how much I like the Ryan Pace shotgun one position attitude, which is kind of what we saw in the last year with the offensive line and just shotgunning a bunch of freaking fifth rounders and late addition free agents. It clearly did not work. I was very much an advocate of, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Ryan Poles, former offensive lineman, he knows what he's doing. Ian Cunningham, they know what they're doing. Blah blah blah. They might know what they're doing, but they need to address assets better. And if they felt strongly about Brisker and Gordon being the best prospects available at the time and made the team overall better, okay, fine. Not doing anything, much of anything in the offensive line room. I mean, who was the center that re-signed, like with the Rams or whatever? Like, there was a couple pieces that they could have added that were decent. I understand the people's argument that say, well, who were they supposed to add? There wasn't a lot of people out there. It's not like there was a franchise left tackle available, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They definitely got to get it right this offseason to get Justin Helpin and properly evaluate him. I think the arguments are people saying that, the Bears should potentially even think about Stroud or Young are kind of out in left field. I mean, you're just going to be drafting another young quarterback and putting them in the same exact position. Who is Bryce Young going to throw to, to play devil's advocate? Byron Pringle and N'Keal Harry? Probably won't get much of a better result. So got to give Fields a chance to prove himself. I think he already has proved himself personally. Should be no more questions about this, but there's still room for him to grow, as a passer. But to get him to that next level, you also need to elevate the team around him. So,
and both can be true. I mean,
definitely.
He can be the answer and also have room to grow. Both
for
of
sure
can be true.
Dude, he's 20. So, he's 23. I mean,
right. So
absolutely crazy to even
there's no reason to jump off a bridge here with Justin Fields. I mean, and it's not like progress in any field of work it is always ebbs and flows and ups and downs. I mean, everybody takes their lumps and then learns from them and grows as they get better at anything. And they say to become an expert at anything, it takes 10,000 hours. Justin's way too young for us to be freaking out. But we do need to see improved everything around him and improvement from him as well. And this is the first year in Getsy's system, first year with Getsy. I think we'll continue to see improvement, as the years progress. I do think it's good that the offense did kind of take a dip so that we don't lose Luke Getsy right away, because they, middle of the season, people were like, oh my God, he's going to be a head coach. What are we going to do?
Does that at all concern you that the Bears the past 5 or 6 weeks have kept going down in basically every offensive metric? Do you think teams are catching on to Getsy? Do you think the team is quitting? What do you think is going on here?
Well, they've had a few injuries, right? To Claypool, to other offensive linemen, like you mentioned. So I think it's a combination of things, but it's a little concerning. Like, who was it? The Bills that kind of figured out Fields and slowed him down quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, not to say that the Bills aren't a good defense. They're a very good defense. So that's not saying a whole lot, but yeah, I don't know. Am I concerned? It's somewhat concerning, but it's no more really concerning than the rest of the season, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, there's not much to even say about this game. That's how bad it was. Just absolutely horrible by basically everyone that played. So the Bears go into week 18 now with a chance to secure the number 2 pick with a loss, secure the number 1 pick with a loss, and a Texans win. It sounded like after the game, Matt Eberflus said Fields would play if he's healthy, and then he kind of backtracked on that during Monday. I think he said him and Poles are going to talk and they'll evaluate who they want to start. AKA, I feel like that means they're going to bench Fields.
I mean, it would be absolutely terrible to have a tragic accident happen, a tragic injury to happen to Fields the last week of the season, right?
I mean, last week I think they had to have been having that conversation on the sideline when Fields was just getting crushed with third string lineman out there.
And I mean, the flip side of it is he needs reps. I mean, he does need to improve. He needs these reps. So,
but at some point, are these reps hurtful?
Right. I don't.
He couldn't even drop back versus the Lions. Like, it was like he took a snap and there was a guy tackling him.
The Vikings aren't very good at pass rushing, are they?
No, but no, they generate a decent amount of pressure actually. Was it Darius Smith and Hunter?
Yeah. What was that? Didn't we look at this once? It wasn't. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's the Lions, and that's the ass whooping they took. We got the Vikings coming up, like you mentioned a little bit, Lucas. Bears may or may not start Fields. The Vikings. Well,
we don't know.
The Bears opened up as a pick'em, right? Per Brad Biggs and his guy on the street in Vegas or whatever. I don't know if that line's ever actually accurate or not. I never checked because
his guy on the strip.
Everybody makes fun of it, so I just kind of play along with the joke. What is the current line, Lucas? Do you know?
4.5, I think, for the Vikings. So
Vikings minus 4.5 in Soldier.
Yeah, it's at Soldier Field.
Wow, so basically a 7-point favorite. Yeah, I mean, if the Vikings play their starters, they should win easily. The Bears are just, I mean, even if they weren't completely unhealthy, they're in a downward spiral. I mean, I think these guys just want to get.
I think they full on looked like they quit last week.
Yeah, they look like they were just over it. So, get to the off season. Be healthy. I guess Fields' reps will have to come at another point if they decide to bench him for Nathan Peterman or Tim Boyle.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
The Vikings are 5.5-point favorites now.
What happened to who was the other guy they had?
Michael Badgley.
No. What? Michael Badgley? We basically got that guy a job in the NFL by having him sub for Cairo Santos for 1 week. And now
it's Simeon. That's who you're thinking of. I forgot about him.
Yeah, Trevor Simeon. Badgley? What are you talking about? Simple.
Remember he was a Bear for like a week, dude?
Yeah, but that's not a quarterback. Or where'd you go? How'd you get there?
I don't know. I was just pulling the name out of my head. They used to be a Bear.
Chris Conti. Just throwing out names.
Oh, this guy's recent.
Adrian Amos.
This guy's on this year's team.
Robert Quinn. All right. Did you see that stat that I retweeted that since Baltimore traded for Roquan Smith, they've gone from like a bottom third defense to a top 5 defense or some shit like that?
Yes.
That's bananas.
I also feel like they haven't played anybody during that stretch.
So do you feel like they should give us a better pick for that? Or like give us another one because we helped them get so much better?
We should just sign Roquan back in the offseason.
That would be.
And then trade him back to the Ravens.
There we go. There's the answer. Okay. Yeah. No. Man. Sure would be nice to have that Chase Claypool pick back. Seeing as it's essentially a second first rounder already. because the Dolphins cheated.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Did not
When we
expect
made
it to be that bad. We all thought it was like, man, we all thought like we'd actually end up with a better record than the Packers. That didn't happen.
well, it's not even that. We also expected Claypool to do something.
Yeah, I don't know how much I really expected out of him. I mean, not for a while, and then with the injury on top of it, yeah, I don't know, man. Hard to expect a guy to.
Well, do you think he'll break out next year?
Claypool break out? Hmm,
Yeah. Will he
that's
finally
not.
have
I don't think
his
that's.
moment to shine?
Mm, no, I'm fairly disappointed, but I'm willing to have hope next year. I mean, he looked okay with Simeon that week. I mean, but
He looked okay the week too. He got hurt.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
They were starting to throw him the ball over the middle of the field. That's frustrating.
Yeah, very. Um, well, I would like to see him succeed next year. Him and Mooney, and then I guess Vilas are pretty much the three locks for wide receiver, unless you don't call Vilas anything. I don't know what else you would call him other than a wide receiver. But I mean, maybe Harry makes the team. ESB, Pringle, like that. If they don't replace at least two of those guys, I don't know what they're doing to help Fields. But man, it almost feels like Claypool's semi replaceable. Like if you had a Higgins versus Claypool type of thing, but it's not like they're gonna run into that conundrum. They need so much goddamn talent.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I don't know. Wide receiver could definitely be a need they would go for early in the draft if they trade back and acquire more picks. I doubt they go that route though, with all the needs they have on their defensive and offensive lines.
I mean, free agency is gonna obviously set the table since it's before
Yeah.
the draft. Uh, we'll see if they make any more trades in the off season. It's going to be hard to make any more trades with the current assets that they have. So they would almost have to like make some trades and then make some more to acquire like veteran type players. So like if they, I mean, unless you're trading future assets, if you're trading like the 2024 first round pick for T Higgins or DJ Moore somehow, that's a thing that could happen. And then you could still go into draft day with some needs fulfilled in free agency, a traded for number one wide receiver, and then trade down and acquire more assets for yourself rather than to package those for something else. But lots of opportunities here for the Bears to move around and add talent both in free agency and in the draft. But man,
First, we have to lose this game.
like I said, they they have a lot of work to do.
Losing this game is potentially massive for the franchise. I mean, so they're locked into a top four, but going between 2 to 4, 1 to 4, I think the difference in those two spots is huge with the two top quarterbacks on the board there. So
Yeah, and both quarterbacks looked phenomenal in their bowl games. So that's you
not
can
only that, you could also potentially double dip too. You could trade back once and then say the third quarter, say Will Levis or Anthony Richardson falls a little bit and someone wants him, trade back again. I mean, there's definitely a lot you can do, having those top two picks. And obviously, Stroud and Young helped themselves big time this weekend, right, Chris?
absolutely. They looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Both of them.
both of them. Bryce Young looked great. C.J. Stroud did everything he could to put his team in position to win. Was winning that game most of the time. When does Stetson Bennett become available? Because that dude's a gamer. That dude's just a flat out gamer. I don't think he's ever going to be an NFL quarterback, but he
I
likes
think he's eligible this year to be drafted.
he can
I
ball.
He's like the next Jake Fromm.
He's the completely different game because he can actually run the ball too.
Yeah.
He's
Bennett.
like
What is he
Baker.
like?
He's like a poor man's Baker Mayfield. Or I got it. He's like Johnny Manziel, but way better. Way better.
He's not that fast.
He's pretty fast.
Dude, Manziel was blazing.
Yeah, maybe. He sucked though. He was so bad.
Not in college. That guy was so fun to watch in college.
Tim Tebow was fun to watch in college.
Tebow.
That guy combined for 40 combined touchdowns. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. Stetson Bennett's a gamer, though. That's all I got to say.
We need that pick, Chris. We need that pick.
Man, so the Vikings. That number one would be insane.
All right. So, yeah, let's break that down. So the Bears, I think, I don't know. I have a feeling now that they mentioned it that they're probably going to sit Fields. What do you think? Do you think he sits this week?
Yeah, I think Tim Boyle starts to give him the absolute worst chance to win.
Do you think so? You don't even think it'll be Peterman?
No. Peterman pulls some like ghost injury in the warm-ups like old boy did earlier. Why can't I remember his gosh darn name? He even played here in Denver. Man. Thank you. Played here in Denver. I actually like Trevor Siemian. He was a good backup.
All right. No, dude, they're definitely going to start Peterman. There's no way they start Boyle over him.
Man, even so, like, do you remember Nate Peterman's like first 2 games in the NFL? He threw like 7 straight picks or some shit. He was awful.
He's bad.
He was so bad. He was so bad. I think he's gotten a little bit better, but like, who's he going to throw to, man?
Yeah, no. I mean, the bigger question is Minnesota going to be trying to win? I mean, they should. They still have a shot at the 2 seed, but
here's the thing. Even if Minnesota isn't trying to win, they aren't going to actively be trying to lose.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, are they going to sit all their starters? But they got absolutely crushed last week.
Yeah, you can't go into they can't do that. You can't go we've seen too many teams like Peyton Manning's Colts and whatnot take that week 17, now week 18 off essentially and go into the playoffs kind of rusty. So after the Vikings got their dicks kicked in, do you really think that they can morally afford to just lay down and not start their starters against the Bears? Like, Justin Jefferson was pissed last week.
Yeah, and now he's going to be going up against Jalen Jones.
Jalen Johnson?
No, he's out for the year. Jalen Jones.
Jalen Jones.
Yeah, exactly. He should be licking his chops. Nice bounce back. This is the perfect bounce back game for them.
It's a get right game. It's a letdown spot for the Bears.
Yeah, no,
So on the flip side, the Texans play the Colts, yeah?
Texans play the Colts, and Nick Foles is in a stretcher. So we will be seeing what's his name again?
Sam Ellinger.
Yeah, Sam Ellinger versus the Texans.
He went to Texas. So what if he comes ready to play?
And Lovey said that the Texans are absolutely trying to win. I could see him winning.
Lovey doesn't care because he wants.
Because he's going to get fired anyway.
Well, that's not where I was going with this. Where I was going with this is like Lovey's like, I don't want the number 1 pick anyway because I'm just going to take Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. So I don't care if I take Bryce Young number 1. They're just like, whatever.
You really think they'll pass a quarterback up?
Yeah.
Dude, oh my God. That's
fun, unless they take like
I could see it.
Like, what if they don't think that Carter or like Young or Stroud, both of who are not typical quarterback builds, aren't it, and they really lose confidence in it's so funny how quickly tape just disappears in the 3 months between the end of the season and the draft. Like Like you watch these guys win, you week in and week out make very intelligent decisions, make big throws, win big games. Come draft day, oh, he's not 6'4". He's not cool. Like, what? This is like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But
Have
whatever.
the Texans ever had a franchise quarterback?
Deshaun Watson.
True. I forgot about him. He's a
Fair.
distant memory.
It's very, very fair. He has not looked very good in Cleveland, if I'm being
he's
100% honest.
he's looked horrible.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what happens when you don't play for 11 weeks.
I don't know.
2 years and 11 weeks or whatever. A year and 11 weeks. Jackass.
I could see the Texans definitely winning in Indianapolis to seal their season, but I still think they're going to take a quarterback.
They always play the Colts tough. Like,
even when the Colts are at full strength.
Yeah, that AFC South is always a
fight.
Yeah, it's a hotbed for just chaos. Like I think going into last season, like that might have been like one of the very first like times I was really getting into like NFL betting, and I was like, oh yeah, Jacksonville looks so good. Blah blah blah. They're gonna just roll the Texans. Nope. No, they smoked them. Texans smoked them opening day. So yeah, AFC South is not a bettable division for me. Other than I have the Jags to win the division. So pray for your boy. Because the Titans are starting Josh Dobbs, which I don't hate. I actually like Josh Dobbs when he was on the Steelers, and I thought he was a solid option at some point for some team. Probably not to be the guy, but definitely to be the number 2 and not the number 3 or 4 or whatever. But
I mean, dude, the Colts have stuff to lose too. I mean, they could definitely move up if they lose this game. So really, if both teams are not trying to win, it could be the ultimate tank off. Or if one team tries to lose and the other one tries to win, it's even better.
You mean only if the Texans are the ones trying to win and the Colts are the ones trying to lose, right? Yeah. We can't have the Colts trying to win. Like, and Jeff Saturday is not trying to save his job or anything. Pretty sure that guy knows he doesn't have a job next year.
He's fired.
Yeah. That was, I don't know what that was, but I guess it's better than giving. I mean, the thought process from what I heard is that the guys that they have in the building that people think are potential first or future head coaches, they wanted to keep in the building, so they didn't want to like promote them to interim and then not hire him as the head coach, either one of them, and then have to demote him. So they just brought in a placeholder essentially in media personality, Jeff Saturday.
Sounds like a Jim Irsay move.
Yeah. That is a move fueled by bourbon and cocaine.
What if they brought back Chuck Pagano to be their coach?
It's gonna be Harbaugh, dude.
No. I just meant as the interim. I didn't mean like just
moving
forward. I was like, that would be hilarious if they just brought back fucking Pagano.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Is he even healthy enough to? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I hope he's all right.
Yeah,
he was a nice guy when he was here. He sucked as DC, but
the weirdest career turnaround I've ever seen out of a Chicago Bears former coach was Mel Tucker. Like, Mel Tucker went from like everybody absolutely hated that guy as the defensive coordinator for the Bears. And then he came to Colorado, made that program good for a year. And then he went to Michigan State, made that program really good, and then got a massive contract.
Was he head coach at Colorado?
Yeah, for like one season.
Yeah, no, some guys are just meant for the college level.
It's interesting because, like, I mean, I don't know what college level, you clearly have to be a good recruiter, and you have to be able to sell kids and their parents on why they should come to this program. And now there's obviously some monetary challenges in there for all schools, but like Mel Tucker just never seemed to be like that guy to me. But whatever. I mean, he did something right. Maybe he's just a good college coach.
Just figured it out and made a lot of money.
Made boatloads of dough. Good for you, Mel Tucker. Well, Lucas, what do you think is going to happen in the final football game this season?
The Bears lose.
Do you have a score prediction?
Man, it's tough with a Peterman-led Bears offense.
Can they get one in the end zone?
Yeah, they'll do the first drive score that they always do, and then they'll kick a few field goals.
A few field goals. Oof, man. Asking a lot, bro.
Yeah, so I'm going to say Vikings 27, Bears 17.
Interesting. So you said it was a 5.5 point spread. And what's the total? It's probably like
45 and a half.
45 and a half. So 25-20 essentially.
If they thought Fields was playing, I think it'd probably be closer to 50, right? I don't know. With the way he played last week, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's hard to tell off the lines with that. But the way that it opened as a pick'em and now it's starting to slide super hard towards the Vikings. If it did really open as a pick'em, which
I don't know if it was a pick'em or a 1 or 2. I did see everything in there, so different books, probably different numbers. But
you saw everything in
anything from a pick'em to -2.
Yeah. So yeah, I see it opened as a 1.5 Bears dog, and now it's at 5 for the Vikings on points bet, 6 for the Bears on Caesars. So yeah, wherever you like to place your money, it's not gonna be good. 3-14. Fuck. Gross. Good God, we're shit. We're so shit, man.
Oh, what's your prediction?
Oh, you want to know what I think is gonna happen in the game? Vikings 30. They get right. Get a 30 burger. Fucking even 35, man. They might score 5 touchdowns. What the fuck they do to us last time? Did they beat the bricks off of us for the first half?
That's a weird game. And then we came out in the second half firing. We fought them back for a while in the second half.
Yeah, so I'm going to say
we got crushed in the first half.
Vikings 33, Bears 12.
Oof. That's humiliating.
We're terrible, man. We're not going to score. We're going to kick 3 field goals. Hey, how much is a field goal worth? 4 field goals.
What if Fields starts? What's the score? You give him a touchdown?
We just scored 10 against one of the worst defenses in the league. So 11?
See, I don't see Fields going out and doing that twice, though. Plus, he's 68 yards from the rushing record, but I think he will not be playing. So,
yeah, well, that's going to be interesting. I think you think we'll find out tomorrow if they make a decision. I mean, they're not practicing
because they're closing off practice. That's why.
They're not. So they are practicing. It's just not
a walkthrough. It's a walkthrough,
okay.
A closed walkthrough. Sketchy, right?
Closed walkthrough.
They're giving Tim Boyle negative reps to get him ready for Sunday.
Oh God, dude,
they're literally just not going to practice this week and tell this guy to go out there.
Just be like, listen, you can do it, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't like rooting for losing, but this will be the most important loss in our Bears' lifetime, I hope. And Yeah. What? That's a fact, right, Chris? Losing to get the number one pick in this situation.
Is the most important loss of our lifetime?
Yeah.
In a sense. I think there's other losses that are more negatively impactful.
I said most important.
I guess in the way that you're spinning it, sure. Um, yeah, I don't know. The number one pick would be nice though. I mean, it really makes me wonder what they would do.
Do you think they would trade back before the draft even started? Like, you know how like normally they'll be like, oh yeah, we know who they're going to take.
That's what San Francisco had that trade done well in advance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they did. Yep. It's happened before too. I think
I think yeah. The Bears
Rams.
actually, I think the Bears actually did it before. I think they
Yeah.
had the number 4 pick and traded back with the Jets for their first 2 first rounders. I think I could be wrong. Maybe that's what I wanted to happen, but I swear that's what did happen. Yeah, it was the year they took Grossman and fucking Michael Haynes. Completely botched that draft.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
Let's not have that happen. Whatever we do. Would you rather have 2 first rounders this year or in a first rounder like next year? So, like, say you get 3 firsts back. Would you rather have 2 this year and 1 next year, or 1 for the next 3 years?
2 this year, 1 next year, for sure.
Yeah, same. So there's only so many teams with 2 first round picks.
Or would you rather have a 1 and a 1? 2 this year or 1 this year, 1 next year?
No, we're saying 3.
No, I'm saying if you only got 2, would you rather have both this year or do 1 and 1?
Oh, I guess it would really. I guess it would really matter who it was with.
The Panthers.
Do the Panthers have 2 this year? So they have 9.
No, they have 1. They have 1.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying if you did the Panthers in the scenario, you got Panthers this year, Panthers next year.
It'd have to be Panthers next 3 years minimum, plus their 2nd and 4th or something outrageous. They don't even have a fucking 2nd. Yeah. Oh no, they have the 60th pick overall. Jesus, man. It's got to be from another trade. Oh no, wait, they do have 39. I lied. I forgot what I was looking for. So let's see here. Who has 2? The
Lions.
2. They have 6 and 17. I would 100% take that.
I think they're in a perfect spot to not do that, though.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Honestly, they should trade back from 6 and just keep getting first. Or take Levis or something.
I mean, if they're on the brink of a playoff, they can't afford to not take a quarterback. You can't think Goff is the answer. I mean, maybe, I guess you can.
I think they do. I mean, he's looked really good.
Like, what if Seattle wanted to give you? Yeah, they're not going to give you both first rounders. They'd be stupid to do that, to move up 2 spots.
I feel like Seattle's a team that normally won't move around too much either.
Yeah,
they always make like a weird selection.
They do.
Like they'll take somebody completely off the wall at 4 or whatever they have. 3.
They have 3 right now.
Yeah, they'll take like Tyree Wilson or something at 3.
I mean, they got Colts at 5. They definitely have to have a quarterback. So you could get 5 and 36, and then a first next year. Maybe a first.
I to be honest with you, Chris, I really don't think getting one of the Colts' defensive stars is out of the question. I think the Bears could definitely possibly swing a Buckner trade.
Yeah, but what value do you put on Buckner? Like, what do you take out of that? Like, you get Buckner plus what?
2 firsts.
I mean, that's That's fair. Basically making Buckner worth a couple mid-round picks.
Yeah. Just with his age and price point. I mean, I think he's still sick. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for sure. How old is he though?
I think he's 30. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be shocked if something like that happened. Would be crazy. Who knows? They might have a fire sale. Who knows about Leonard? I mean, his contract's outrageous, but he hasn't been healthy either.
I don't think they'll. I don't know, man. They can't. I just don't. I think they are a quarterback away. They just keep fucking it up.
The Colts? I don't know, man. Their line looks horrible this year too.
Yeah, but that seems like an anomaly. They've been so good for the last couple of years. It's the highest paid line in the league.
I don't know, man. I do not know.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been an hour. We've made our predictions.
Now give me a prediction for the Texans game.
We're hoping for a loss. Texans win.
You think they're winning?
Texans win in a blowout.
Nah. I'm saying like
they're just going to murder them.
17-14 Texans.
Did Dameon Pierce get hurt for the year?
He was on IR, yeah.
Good God, man. I feel like every time I turn around, somebody's on IR.
That would be correct.
Yeah.
All right. Texans win. You heard it here first. Bears, #1 pick. Episode coming next week.
Let's go, Bears. Bear down.